Hello and good evening. I'm Mona Priya. Welcome to News on 2. Former Federal Territories Minister Datuk Seri Tengku Adnan Tengku Mansor has been arrested by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, when he arrived at the MACC headquarters at 3:15 p.m. today. The Putrajaya MP is expected to be charged over dubious land deals involving Kuala Lumpur City Hall or DBKL tomorrow. It was reported that MACC summoned the former UMNO Secretary General to meet investigators today to facilitate their probe into the land deals. MACC Deputy Chief Commissioner Datuk Seri Azam Baki said Datuk Seri Tengku Adnan would be brought to the Kuala Lumpur Courts complex tomorrow, where he would face charges for bribery. Media reports had previously stated that Datuk Seri Tengku Adnan was being investigated over 97 dubious transactions for the sale of over 273.27 hectares owned by DBKL, worth a total of 5.63 billion ringgit. Now, Datin Sri Rosmah Mansor, the wife of former Prime Minister, spent 3 hours providing her statement at the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission headquarters today with regards to the case of laundering of the supply of solar energy to schools in Sarawak. She arrived at 11:40 a.m. in a Proton Perdana car, accompanied by a Proton Wajah in tow. Upon leaving the MACC headquarters at 2:30 p.m, attorney K. Kumarendran confirmed that his client will be charged at the Kuala Lumpur courts at 3 p.m. tomorrow.
What about tomorrow, sir?
She has to come tomorrow, okay?
To
the court.
To the court, Jalan Duta.
That's all. Jalan Duta.
Untuk berkaitan berkaitan isu solar Sarawak.
Tak ada apa.
Nanti tengok esok macam mana.
Any statement lah.
Esok nanti insyaAllah kita tahu.
Yeah, okay.
Itu saja.
Yeah.
Terima kasih ya.
You know me, never no statements. Okay. Thank you very much.
According to MACC sources, Datin Sri Rosmah was investigated on 1.25 billion ringgit worth of funds concerning the project. Investigations revealed that the project was given a contract without adhering to the standard operating procedure under the Education Ministry during the previous BN-led government rule. The project involved the installation of solar hybrid in rural schools, which was awarded to a company based on a directive from former Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak. In a related development, the government has until May 2019 to verify whether 44 pieces of jewellery worth about 60 million ringgit, which were allegedly sent by a Lebanese jeweller to Datin Sri Rosmah Mansor before it was seized by police. Superintendent Fu Wei Min, head of the Bukit Aman Special Investigation Division for Money Laundering, said in an affidavit that back in May, about 12,000 pieces of jewellery were seized by the unit in raids on premises linked to Datin Sri Rosmah's husband and ex-Prime Minister, Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak. As to whether the 44 pieces of jewellery mentioned in the suit bought by the Lebanese jeweller Global Royalty Trading SAL formed part of the seized jewellery, Fu said that the investigation unit is not yet in a position to state an oath, as they will have 6 months until May 2019 to verify the items with the assistance of an expert. High Court Judicial Commissioner Wong Chi Lin ordered the government to file an affidavit to confirm whether the jewellery allegedly sent to Datin Sri Rosmah by the Lebanese jeweller had been seized by police. When met after the proceedings in chambers before Wong today, lawyer Datuk G. David, who acted for Global Royalty Trading, said the court has given more time for them to confirm whether the 44 pieces of jewellery has been seized by police. The court fixed 11th February next year for case management. The United States Department of Justice, DOJ, must ensure that the documentation process on the extradition of Roger Ng to the United States are completed within the 60-day remand order. Bukit Aman Commercial Crime Investigation Department Director Datuk Sri Amar Singh Ishar Singh said the 60-day remand order on Ng, or his real name, Ng Chong Hua, came into effect on 2nd November after he was detained on the 1st of November following an arrest warrant filed by the US.
Dan dalam masa 60 hari, pihak DOJ akan mengemukakan hujah-hujahnya dan dokumen-dokumennya untuk supaya beliau dapat diekstradisikan kepada United States.
Dato' Amar Singh said this after opening the Sri Hartamas police station in Kuala Lumpur. It was earlier reported that US authorities had filed a warrant of arrest against Ng after charges in relation to the 1MDB case were brought against him in absentia. Apart from Ng, Malaysian businessman Lau Teck Jo, or Joe Low, is also being sought by the DOJ for the same case. According to the DOJ, Joe Low and Ng allegedly conspired to launder billions of dollars embezzled from 1MDB and conspired to violate the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, FCPA, by paying bribes to Malaysian and Abu Dhabi authorities.
The Magistrates Court charged a man today for murdering his friend in a shop lot on 2nd November. The accused, Abdul Rahman Abdullah, 27, was charged with the murder of Freddie Lim Kok Ching, 38, on the third floor of the shop lot along Jalan Panggung Wayang at about 10:42 a.m.
The accused was charged under Section 302 of the Penal Code, which carries the mandatory death sentence if convicted. Abdul Rahman nodded in understanding when the charge was read before Magistrate Mohammad Hairul Jamain. Prosecution was conducted by Deputy Public Prosecutor Nur Raihan Ridwan, while the accused was unrepresented. The magistrate then set 8th January for the case re-mentioned, pending the post-mortem report. During the 2nd November incident, a man was found dead in the shop lot at Jalan Panggung Wayang.
The mother of the late Tan Sri Dr. Jamaluddin Jarjis, Aminah Abdullah, today filed an affidavit in reply to the former minister's widow, Puan Sri Dr. Kalsum Ismail, over the division of his property, estimated to be worth around 2 billion ringgit. Aminah is also seeking the court to issue the Islamic Wealth Distribution or Faraid certificate for this matter.
This was related by Sharia lawyer representing Aminah, Nur Hidayah A. Bakar, after the case management in front of Sharia High Court Registrar Siti Zulaiha Mohammad Mansoor. The court set 7th January 2019 for the late Tan Sri Dr. Jamaluddin's widow and children to reply to the affidavit filed today. The former minister's widow, Dr. Kalsum Ismail, 62, and their children, Nur Anis, 33, Ikwan Hafiz, 31, and Nurul Aliyah, 27, and Nur Adila, 23, as plaintiffs, had raised a preliminary objection that Aminah could not apply to get a Faraid certificate. Aminah had filed claims for more than 20 properties in Malaysia, the United States and Mecca, Saudi Arabia, and companies to be included in the Faraid certificate. Dr. Kalsum was represented by Sharia lawyer Dato' Shamsuriah Sulaiman, although both Aminah and Dr. Kalsum were not present in court today. Tan Sri Dr. Jamaluddin was killed on 4th April 2015 after the helicopter he was travelling in crashed at Kampung Sungai Pening, Semenyi, Selangor. The helicopter, ferrying 6, was said to have exploded mid-air before crashing onto a rubber estate.
A total of 4.03 million unpaid summonses issued under the Automated Enforcement System, or AES, since 2012 until 31st August this year have been wiped out, with offending drivers getting off the hook. Transport Minister Anthony Loke Siu Fook said all AES summonses issued before 1st of September have also been wiped out from the system.
Saya telah mendapat kepastian daripada pihak pengurusan pusat data ini bahawa semua saman-saman keputusan yang kita telah buat itu telah pun diputihkan daripada sistem. Maksudnya apa-apa saman AES sebelum 1 September sudah tidak ada lagi dalam data penerima-penerima saman AES itu. Telah pun dibersihkan, telah pun diputihkan.
Loke said some 60,444 AES summonses issued for speeding beyond the speed limit were issued between 1st September and 8th November this year, but only 711 of them have been settled. For the offence of running the red light, a total of 4,575 summonses were issued, with only 167 of them settled. Speaking to the media after visiting the Road Transport Department's Digital Data Centre in Cyberjaya, Loke said as of September 1st, 1,190 AES cases have been brought to court in 3 states, namely Kedah, Perak and Pulau Pinang. However, only 3 individuals attended the hearings in court.
The proposal to abolish the mandatory death sentence requires an in-depth and thorough study, as the issue concerns various complicated and intricate matters. Deputy Prime Minister Dato' Sri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail commented on the matter with regards to the recent tragic case of an 11-month-old baby who died of abuse at the hands of the caretaker's husband.
Speaking to the media at the Parliament lobby, Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah said the issue will be discussed with Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Datuk Liew Vui Keong.
Sebab tu kita nak tengok mengkajian dengan dalam. Dan Kabinet belum lagi memutuskan, walaupun kita tahu bahawa mandatory death sentence tu dalam negara-negara seperti Australia telah dimasukkan. Jadi kita nak fikirkan macam mana kita nak menangani masalah itu.
During a question and answer session at Dewan Rakyat yesterday, Datuk Liew said 32 criminal offences are being considered for the abolishment of mandatory death sentence. On Monday, the Deputy Premier said the government was still in consideration as to whether to abolish the death penalty, as they do not want to end the life of an individual who may be wrongly convicted.
Zaibo, the actor whose real name is Zainal Arifin Abdul Hamid, has passed away. He was 62. Zaibo passed away at 1:30 p.m. today of esophageal cancer at his home in Rengit, Batu Pahat, Johor. His wife, Siti Hawa Sawal, 52, confirmed the matter when contacted by the media. Zaibo was diagnosed with stage 4 esophageal cancer in September and had undergone treatment at Sungai Buloh Hospital. He will be buried after the Isha prayers tonight. Malaysian Artists Association Secretary General Hafiz Nafia said Zaibo will be buried at the Rengit Muslim Cemetery after the funeral prayers at the house. Zaibo had appeared in many local films and dramas in various roles and had left an indelible impression in the hearts of his fans. An initial allocation of 1.74 million ringgit has been channeled to the National Disaster Relief Trust Fund as expenditure for the State Disaster Management Committee Secretariat and the District Disaster Management Committees. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail said the move was aimed at ensuring that flood disaster operations in the country were properly managed. In facing the northeast monsoon, which is expected to continue until March 2019, Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah said first responder agencies such as the Royal Malaysian Police, Fire and Rescue Department and the Civil Defence Force APM were prepared to mobilise 78,612 personnel at the flood-prone areas.
Khusus bagi negeri Kelantan, persiapan yang telah dibuat melibatkan 1,984 anggota polis, bomber dan APM. 94 kenderaan pacuan 4 roda, 59 lori, 23 ambulans, 109 bot dan 33 kenderaan lain. 607 pusat pemindahan telah diaktifkan untuk menampung seramai 198,000 mangsa.
The Deputy Premier further noted that the Central Committee meeting chaired by her on 30th October had decided that leave for the personnel involved during the operations would be frozen from November to December this year, and this might be extended until March 2019, depending on the weather conditions in the affected states. In a related development, Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah said during the Central Committee meeting chaired by her last month, they have decided that logging activities should be halted in Kelantan during the monsoon season.
Kegiatan pembalakan, kita juga nak berbincang dengan Kementerian Yobihin, panjang nama kementerian dia, untuk mengatakan reforestation, tanaman semula mana-mana tempat yang pembalakan yang telah dilakukan.
Speaking in Parliament, the Deputy Premier added that to date, 422 million ringgit has been spent from 2008 to 2017, and 25.8 million ringgit was incurred from January to October this year for flood operations. In addition, the Women, Community and Family Development Minister said Indah Water Consortium Sdn Bhd was also consulted to look into the relief centre sewerage systems and ensure that they were well maintained.
The government does not have the intention of introducing capital gains tax on shares and other taxes on the wealthy yet, in order to prevent capital flight from Malaysia. Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng said that such a move would be a shock to the system and would hinder the country's fiscal and financial recovery.
Lim said the decision was made after discussions were held between the Tax Reform Committee with Bank Negara Malaysia and the Securities Commission. The discussions revealed that if such a move was taken, it would have negative repercussions on the country's capital and financial markets.
Sekiranya langkah tersebut dijalankan dalam keadaan fiskal yang amat mencabar, ini juga akan merupakan satu kejutan ke atas pasaran modal dan kewangan.
Speaking in Parliament, the Finance Minister further noted that the move was not implemented in order to safeguard Malaysia's competitiveness in the capital and financial markets. The Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Shah, today emphasized the importance of having courageous and visionary leadership, which is something needed now more than ever. He said these leadership traits are crucial in meeting the ever-growing challenges and to take full advantage of the ever-growing opportunities in a fast-changing world.
Such outstanding and unforgettable leaders may emerge from all walks of life and backgrounds and can operate in any field, from high politics to humanitarian relief. The sheer force of personality that is required, along with the other qualities that characterize dynamic leadership, can indeed be found in anyone. It can also perhaps be fostered and nurtured with sufficient motivation and training.
The Sultan of Perak said this in his keynote address at the opening of the Leadership Energy Summit Asia 2018, organized by ICLIF Leadership and Governance Centre at the Federal Capital. Sultan Nazrin further named Sulab International Social Service founder Dr. Bindeshwar Pathak, Microsoft Corporation founder Bill Gates, and the paramount leader of China, the late Deng Xiaoping, as among the exceptional leaders he admires who've made a transformative impact in the lives of people. The construction of the Sungai Buloh Serdang Putrajaya MRT line is currently 37% complete. SSP MRT Corp Electrical and Mechanical Systems Head Abdul Hamid Abdullah said works to shift a part of the Sungai Buloh Kajang line to be a part of the SSP line will begin.
37% currently comprised of civil works, system works and underground works. Initially, the project we divide into two contract, which is we call it elevated systems and also underground. But now with the new government's directions and already announced in the paper, I think everybody knows, all underground, elevated and system will be combined into one project contract. One under contractor, then they will be responsible for overall.
Abdul Hamid said this to reporters during a media briefing in Damansara, Selangor. He further noted that the MRT stations at Kuasa Damansara, Kampung Selamat and Sungai Buloh will be closed on the 17th and 18th of this month for track maintenance work. A free replacement shuttle service will operate between the three stations that will match the frequency of the trains. Universal Fitness and Leisure Sdn Bhd, UFL, the company that supplies fitness and outdoor gears under the brand name Jota, targets a growth of between 10 to 15% in domestic sales next year. The confidence stems from their latest plan to launch 30 new models of sports apparel of various categories in 2019. Its managing director, Datuk V. Radhakrishnan, said the consistent growth in annual sales enabled the company to grow in strength at a consistent pace.
Malaysia is the first country to introduce the new models. Habis ini Thailand akan launch dan Singapore akan launch. So for Deuter, Malaysia is the biggest market in Southeast Asia. In terms of sales, in terms of market penetration, it's the biggest market.
Datuk Radhakrishnan said Deuter will retain its 2018 prices going into 2019 despite the depreciation of the ringgit compared to the US dollar. He added that UFL will venture into the digital era by focusing on its online marketing via social media. Datuk Radhakrishnan said this to reporters after the Kembara UFL Challenge event in Selangor. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has expressed much interest in what the government is doing to rehabilitate the country. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said IMF Chief Christine Lagarde told him this after paying a courtesy call in Singapore.
And, they are very interested in what we are doing to rehabilitate the country, including our anti-corruption strategies. Which she says she would like at another time perhaps have a longer discussion with me. And they are very interested in what we are doing to rehabilitate the country, including our anti-corruption strategies, which she says she would like at another time perhaps have a longer discussion with me.
Tun Dr. Mahathir is currently in Singapore to attend the 33rd ASEAN and other related summits. The Premier's stormy relations with the IMF goes back to the Asian financial crisis over 2 decades ago, where he snubbed an IMF bailout and slapped capital controls on global investors instead. Although the IMF and Western governments and agencies had criticized Malaysia for imposing capital controls, the world body now knows the measures helped the economy to recover within a relatively short period of time.
And that concludes this evening's News on 2. In our top story today, Rosmah assists MACC in solar energy supply to Sarawak schools. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Mohana Priya. Thanks for watching.